Darkest TikTok iceberg. Why do people keep asking for that? Oh, I actually remember this story. I haven't seen his video on it, but I remember this was on Reddit. There was a random TikTok that was taken, well, at least this story, I guess the whole thing might not be connected. A random TikTok taken of a girl with like a black eye and shit. And then Redditors actually were the ones that maybe potentially connected her to a missing persons case. I don't remember the result. I don't know if it actually turned out to be true or not, but yeah, I guess we'll check it out, sure.
We're doing it from most tame to most gruesome. This video gets really dark, and it sounds so ironic because it's TikTok, but you guys would—
No, TikTok's a fucked platform.
Also, I made
Shit's
this
nutty.
list. I hope you guys watch the whole thing. By the way, make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Actually, don't subscribe yet. I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video.
Hey.
Without botting accounts. Like most social media, TikTok has
underwhelming.
Users that want followers can easily look
Everyone
up
knows
how to buy
TikTok's
TikTok
botted the
followers
fuck.
on Google. I don't know how lame you have to be to do that stuff.
Hey, fun fact. That's how Travis Scott started. Travis Scott bought all of his followers on SoundCloud when he started. His manager came out and said that Travis Scott, paid him to set up a bot farm for his SoundCloud engagements, and then he was able to pitch that manufactured success to a record label. So yeah, that shit really works.
Fetishization of murderers. TikTok
True
is
crime.
a place for anyone with any interest.
That was big on
It's how
Tumblr.
Some people are push the boundary a little when they begin romanticizing these murderers. Take Cameron Herron, for example.
Oh,
in
Jesus,
April
yeah.
of this year, this 21-year-old man was sentenced to a total of 24 years in
Actually
prison
forgot
for
about
killing
that.
a 24-year-old mom and her baby during an illegal street race. Yet people on TikTok were begging for his freedom because he is quote-unquote cute. With dedicated fan edits, comments like, "Chances should be given and he deserves it," and "He is innocent, please let him go," or "Justice for him."
They still exist. I see them on Twitter all the time.
These comments have no real
All the
sense of
time.
murder. And it's not only male murderers that are
Exit
simped
tier
for,
one
though.
chaotic
There's also the
meatball,
case of
Recep
Isabella
kitten.
Guzman, who in 2013 was the age 18 and stabbed her mother 151 times, killing her. TikTok teens
shit.
began requesting for her freedom because 1, they just thought she was cool, and 2, people said that the only reason she killed her mom was due to being abused, though that was never proven, so people were just going off word of mouth.
Jesus
Fetishization of
Christ.
school shooters. Just like young teens simp for murderers, they also simp for school shooters. Most notably, Devin Erickson, which we actually
What?
talked about on this channel back in March.
Who the fuck is
That's
that?
exactly what you'd expect. Fan edits, comments saying he's hot, and I wouldn't doubt some asking for his freedom. Speaking of romanticizing school shooters, I remember FTP made a couple
Wait,
shirts referencing
who the fuck was that? I've never heard of that guy. He was a school shooter? Dude straight up had like cotton candy hair. I guess that's good that I have no idea that dude's name. But yeah, no, I had no clue. I've never seen that guy before in my fucking life.
I don't know who started this trend of thinking school shooters are people you should idolize, because they're not. They're shit humans that took away lives of innocent people. The surface. Faking disabilities. There was an instance
Ooh, this
last
was
week
big,
when this girl
still
on TikTok
big.
did some detective work and found out that the account at Adopted and Disabled Child was actually a guy pretending to be disabled. For what? All credit to her, because she actually found out that the quote-unquote disabled man in the video is a soccer player for a Norwegian football team.
What?
What goes on through your head to say, you know what? I should fake a disability
Holy
today
shit.
and post it on TikTok. Lopez brothers. Okay, I honestly don't want to waste my breath on these fucking idiots, so I'm gonna
I
make
don't
this
know
one
them.
really quick. Yes, they are both guilty of soliciting minors. Yes, there is proof.
She's 14. And you are how old?
Who the fuck are they? I've never heard of them.
You can end up in jail.
I do realize that.
And
Man, that video didn't really pop off. Let me take a peek. I bet they're doing just fine on TikTok. Honestly, it might even be good marketing on TikTok, so that way the little girls think they have a chance with them, I guess. Which they very well might. Tony Lopez has 23 million followers, and he's doing real well. Posted a day ago. Let's go! He rated his attractiveness. Look at this. Nice. Yeah, no, that really, man, him being outed as a pedophile apparently really, fuck, it really ruined him. Who was the other one? Andre Lopez? He probably took the brunt of it. 21 million followers. He's doing even better than his brother. Hey, look, he's doing a dance. Nice. See, that's the beauty of TikTok. No matter what you do, you can't be canceled on there. And you know why? Because kids don't care. Kids do not give a shit. These two could have literally executed a child on TikTok livestream, put a gun to his head, blew their fucking brains out, and then did a dance on their corpse. Kids would have forgiven them. Literal next day.
For some reason, little girls still love them.
Oh, he even mentions it, yeah.
His TikToks would get millions of views, and I'm sure you've seen them on your For You page at some point. Well, last month, multiple minors came out explaining that Jerob had groomed them.
Tori.
One of them, the one that got the most views, was a boy by the name of DYLG16. Joe would send him and his minor friends online BDSM tests and would ask to see their scores so he could see what their kinks were. He even offered to buy him alcohol, and if that wasn't damning enough, Jerob ended up deleting his account shortly after these allegations came out. Bro, if there's one thing I don't like, it's fucking groomers, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You're weird. You're weird. You're weird. Cartel TikTok.
To be fair, that dude probably wouldn't have recovered. I think you're probably right. The people that are fine and uncancelable on TikTok are like the dudes that are decent looking. This guy stood no chance. This guy was fucked the second he got outed as a child groomer. But yeah, the other ones are doing just fine for literally being outed by multiple people for preying on minors.
Zombie Woman is the nickname given to a woman in distress recorded from a neighbor earlier this year in May in Seattle, Washington. Now, I've tried researching what actually is the story behind this video, but there isn't really a solid story. So, I'm just gonna read you guys some popular theories. The first theory is that this woman is a victim of domestic abuse due to dyeing her hair pink and her boyfriend not liking it. Also forgot to mention that in that same theory, the boyfriend allegedly ripped her hair out due to not liking the pink. That's the most I could find for that one. The second theory
is
probably
that this woman
is just on some type of heavy drug like bath salts. The third theory
that's
is that
more
this woman
likely
is a victim of human trafficking and she had escaped her abuse.
That is possible.
Someone said,
man, that actually does look like a fucking scene from Martyrs, if any of you guys are unfortunate enough to have watched that movie. That movie's disturbing. This actually does look like a scene from that. So this was real? This wasn't like some theater promotion thing or something? Like some kids doing high school theater? Because the cops are actually here, so I'm guessing this was a real person. Damn, that is fucking sad. Martyrs isn't that bad? Bro, that movie hits hard. That movie, like, not just like the gore shit they show. That movie, like, even its message is disturbing. The whole movie is about torturing women so they can get as close to death as possible, so hopefully they'd have an out-of-body experience and see what's on the other side. And to accomplish that, they torture the women, like, by literally, like, peeling all of their skin off, like, degloving their whole body. Like, that movie's nutty. That movie is, like, really nutty.
Holocaust challenge. Yo, I
remember this one.
Stuff I'm saying right
I remember
now.
that one.
This is real stuff that happened on TikTok. In August of 2020, a new trend began emerging in US TikTok. In this trend, teenagers would pretend to be Jews that had died during the Holocaust.
Yeah, that one was pretty fucking crazy.
Diane Saltzman, the director.
One thing I always found pretty interesting about this is, like, what is the thought process here? Like, so they died at Auschwitz and they went to heaven, and yet they're still, like, covered in dirt and like hurt and stuff even while in heaven. Like, that's gotta suck. You go to heaven in the same state you left the world. Like, if you get hit by a fucking train or something, you just go to heaven in pieces. That'd be terrible. What a horrible, like, entrance.
Is offensive to survivors.
Easy tier 1 macaroni and cheese.
I don't know how fucking stupid you have to be to do this shit, bro. That's just weird and disrespectful. Ronnie McNutt video.
This one, I remember this one too.
TikToks would be posted onto the app.
Fuck, this one was heavy.
Until the TikTok would then cut to a clip of a man shooting himself in the head with a rifle. Well, he actually shoots himself in the face, not. Well, like, we're like, right here. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the video. These TikToks were disguised as your average dancing videos.
That was a fucked up trend.
Fan came confirmed that the rumor of Ronnie doing this, quote, because his girlfriend broke up with him, is entirely false. He explains that Ronnie did this due to suffering from PTSD and depression.
Oh, yeah, that one was super
TikTok
sad.
beheading video. In the summer of
that
this
one was
year,
really fucking
the video
sad.
Cassie Compton. In January of 2021,
this one I remember from
video
Reddit.
Posted on TikTok went viral due to showing a woman sitting in the backseat of a car. People compared this woman to Cassie Compton, a 15-year-old who disappeared from her home in Stuttgart, Arkansas on September 14th of 2014. Though these were later found out to be two completely different people. And
oh, it wasn't right?
The video was confirmed by family to be Haley Grace Phillips. She had been reported missing by a family member who saw the video.
It was right though.
On her own account, had just left home due to a falling out with her father. So, you know, she didn't think she was missing. She just, like, left home. And when asked about the black eyes, she explains that she had been jumped and robbed by two women when leaving the store. And the men in the car were friends of hers helping her track down the attackers. Many were still skeptical to if she was telling the truth or if her abusers were telling her.
So Reddit was almost right.
So we have no idea what the Austin 13. Austin Morosky was a TikToker with many followers who was accused of raping his 5-year-old sister. Yup. You heard that
Jesus
right. So basically,
Christ.
there is no hard evidence that I could find to this case. It's all just word of mouth from people that went to high school with him.
That if you happen to get in the same scenario like myself, don't beat yourself up. Let this be a lesson to my followers and whoever's watching, that words will and can affect someone's life, along with the cyberbullying.
Which, by the way, is one of the worst apology videos I've seen.
What?
It's right up there with James Charles and David Dobrik. You'd expect them to be like, no, I did not my sister, or yes, guys, I did.
Holy
but
shit.
He just dodges the question. He acknowledges nothing.
What the
Lady
fuck?
cat killer.
Wait, what the fuck? That was actually like his response? I imagine he's doing just fine on TikTok. He probably didn't even need to do that for his TikTok followers. They don't give a fuck. What was his name? Austin13? He does not have a TikTok anymore. That's a first. Yeah, I typed it in right. The AWS. Yeah, I typed it in right. Oh, 316. Oh. Okay, hold on. No, still not. And it was Austin13. Man, fuck you guys making me think I was wrong.
On July 28th in San Antonio, Texas, this girl and her friend saw someone hanging from the railing of a drainage ditch. The 25-year-old man had just committed suicide, and instead of calling the police, well, one of the teens filmed the other one stealing his necklace. Yes, removing it from his lifeless body. To make matters even worse, they filmed it and posted it on
Full-blown
Snapchat.
Logan
I have
Paul.
no idea how stupid you have to be to film yourself committing a crime. I mean, because if you think about it, they could have gotten away with it, and I'm not condoning them getting away with it. But seriously, how stupid, like, just don't film
Holy
it? Again,
shit.
I'm not condoning what they did. Good that they got caught. I'm glad they were idiots and filmed it. When asked by the police why she stole the necklace, she says that it matched her fashion style. Honestly, I didn't.
That's
I
a
didn't
good-
expect any better.
That's a
reasoning
good
from this
point,
girl.
actually.
The police,
How are they doing on TikTok? What was her name? What was it? Bethany what? Yeah, I'm sure if I type in how many people are actually fucking named Bethany in 2022, I'm sure it'll come up. Bethany 3160. I'm not falling for it twice. No, it looks like she has also been banned. Man, maybe TikTok actually does sometimes take action. Then why not for the other? They're like predators. Yeah, it looks like she is also off. Her name was Bethany Martin.
Zachary Lathan.
Her account still exists.
Often
It's at
dubbed
50K.
The TikToker who killed his neighbor for clout.
Thank you, some
Zachary
Dal
Lathan
stars.
did just that. Eventually, the family's son and father confront Zach by going to his house, and meanwhile, Zach's wife is recording everything. Yeah, the dude had a wife at the age of 18. What the f? Anyway, Zach ends up going ape mode and stabs William in the armpit, puncturing his lung, killing him. People say this was an attempt to gain TikTok clout since the wife was recording, but I personally think it's just a man with mental and anger issues not knowing limits. Also,
Jesus.
the argument, the people came up to his side, and I'm not defending it again, that kid's a fucking idiot. But yeah, rest in peace to that man. Rest in peace. Joseph Jimenez.
I'm assuming
Another
that
recent
TikTok
event from
guy's
this
in jail
list is
now.
this. When explaining why he did it, he says that voices were telling him that by killing both of those two teenagers, he would be saving the world.
Fuck, maybe, Jesus Christ, maybe that Reddit commenter really was real then. Fuck me, oh my god. What? Jesus Christ. Yeah, going out in public's scary, man. What's the name of that old song from Under Oath? It's dangerous business going out of your front door or something? The shit is super true. And it really feels like more and more people are becoming unhinged. I don't know what it is, but it just really feels like more often now than when I was growing up, people are becoming significantly more on edge and dangerous. Thanks to Tier 1 Dat Boy and the resub up down. It might just be like more access to information, but goddamn, this fucking scary.
Claire Miller is a 14-year-old girl that murdered her disabled sister, Helen, that had cerebral palsy, a disorder that affects a person's posture, muscles, and balance. Claire hysterically called 911 and just admitted to murdering her sister, and when the police arrived, they noticed that she had tried washing the blood that was on her hands in the snow on the ground. So I guess there was just bloody snow everywhere. And they had found a knife
What?
inside of the older sister's neck. They are charging her for murder as an adult. She's not being charged
Good.
as a minor. She's being charged as a full adult. So she's
That's
gonna
good
get these
news.
consequences.
God damn.
Nicola Priest. This is by
I think
far
as TikTok continues to grow, pretty much every criminal ever is going to be able to be traced back to a TikTok account. So literally every criminal from this point forward, I imagine, will be able to watch TikTok videos of them doing the Doja Cat dance or some shit at some point. Because it's just everyone has one now. So literally every single murderer is also going to be a TikToker by extension. That's a pretty wild future.
So this woman from the UK named Nicola Priest would post
Thanks,
TikToks
Reese of
mourning her
Innocence.
dead daughter. This woman actually murdered her own kid and then went on TikTok post mourning her own daughter. People found this out because you can actually search her up on public records and it says there that she murdered her kid. That's what she is. And if you go back and watch some of the videos, her account is still up, by the way. If you go back and watch some of the videos, it's so fucking creepy seeing like just no.
Why? Why is her account still up?
Acting like she didn't fucking kill her own daughter.
What? What was her name? Nicola Priest. How is she doing? No, it's down now. Okay, so it must have been up in August. It is down now. So far, almost all of them have been. I'm very surprised. Usually they're not. Why just 15 years? I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. I imagine, if I had to take a guess, I would say it's probably the UK. Let's see, in fact. Mom who killed 3-year-old for interrupting her having sex posts... What? Posts apology to her parents. And yes, she was from Solihull, England. She made a fucking YouTube apology video for killing her 3-year-old daughter. She was having sex with her boyfriend and got interrupted. And so she killed her daughter. What was the thought process? It's not like she was going to go back to getting laid after committing a murder in front of the boyfriend. Oh shit, the boyfriend is also implicated in this. The vomiting was the result of the severe beating you were both responsible for inflicting on her. No doubt you irritated by her crying, asking to be let out. It interrupted the two of you when you wanted to have sex. You lost your temper and you were joint participants in the assault. Holy shit. And they got 15 years. It's a fucking joke, man. That's a fucking joke. Yep, that should be life for both of them, I would say. And what's even wilder, she used it for clout on TikTok.
All right, yeah, that was the iceberg.
That was a lot of shit.
Let me know what you guys want to see.
There's a shark trend as well. Now that just sounds like good fun. No one's getting hurt in a shark. Damn. Yeah, that was a lot of shit I'd never even heard of. Another day, another awful TikTok challenge. The one we're talking about today is Devious Licks. And I actually think this is worse than the Tide Pod challenge, if you guys remember that, where kids were just eating Tide Pods and killing themselves or burning their stomachs. I actually think Devious Licks is worse than that, because at least Tide Pods, they're only hurting themselves. Devious Licks is just a massive inconvenience to everyone around them. So what is Devious Licks? It fucking sounds like a Harry Potter book, like Harry Potter and the Devious Licks. It sounds like a Death Grips album title. It's a really stupid name, but basically, it's a TikTok trend where kids in high school were going into their bathrooms and just stealing shit. So stealing soap dispensers, stealing entire sinks, stealing urinals, stealing the actual shitters themselves. There were actual kids just unscrewing the shitter, used, poopied, pee-peed in toilet, stealing that and taking it with them to their house. I can only imagine the immeasurable disappointment the parents must feel when they find that hidden treasure their kid brought home, because it's gonna smell like asshole. It's a fucking toilet. So they walk in there and they see that their kid's not only a thief, but the dumbest thief on earth. They stole a useless biological hazard. You can't even sell the toilet. Like, there's nothing you can do with it except just throw it away. Now, Devious Licks wasn't limited to just stealing. No. It was much more elaborate than that, because if you couldn't steal something from your bathroom, you just destroy everything. You go full caveman brain and just break everything and call it a Devious Lick. So that's basically the trend. And as it continued to grow, it transcended the quarantine zone of the high school bathroom. It went from the bathroom to just the school in general, so they started stealing things like sinks outside of the bathroom, they'd steal lockers, they'd steal cars. It basically was just vandalism at the school property, and this shit's been fucking wild. The only thing I've ever stolen from school is this little bad boy right here, and I had to go out of my way to find him, but I remember stealing this. It's a little snowman Pez dispenser. He's pretty playful, he's pretty cool. Not really a devious lick, but I felt bad about it ever since. I stole that from a teacher's desk, I remember, because I thought it was just kind of cool because there was Pez in it, and it was like, yeah, that's kind of nice. So I took it, and God, the guilt has been overwhelming ever since. I pray to God every night that he forgives me for the sin. Can only imagine what these heathens are going through. But anyway, this has become such a widespread thing that entire towns are going in lockdown at their schools, fucking sounding the emergency sirens like aliens have arrived. It's DEFCON red alert out here. Devious Licks is the boogeyman that's marched into town. So the way some of the schools are dealing with this is absolutely amazing. I read about a couple schools that just outright banned using the bathroom during school hours without an approved time for it. So they had to take a field trip to the bathroom, and if you have to go before that field trip time, you're just going to shit and piss in your britches. Like, those trousers are going to get soiled because they don't want to take the chance, because it got so bad at those schools that they just outright forbid using the bathroom outside of their designated field trip bathroom time. And then the more common one that I'm seeing is you are not allowed to use the bathroom without a school-approved chaperone to be there to make sure that you're not doing anything devious in there. These are high schoolers, mind you, and their brains have been rotted so drastically by TikTok that they're now not allowed to use the bathroom without a fucking bodyguard to monitor them because they can't be trusted to behave themselves while tinkling. It's crazy. Now, I wanted to show you a few devious licks that I found on TikTok, but I didn't record them in time. TikTok has banned all devious licks and the accounts associated with most of them, so all of those are now just lost to the fucking cyberspace, the cyber shadow realm. So I'm just going to show you a short compilation from Know Your Meme that did like a few of the bigger ones that were viral on TikTok, so that way you can at least get an idea of what these looked like.
Licks refers to a trend where TikTokers steal school equipment and flaunt it like trophies for all of TikTok to see, with everything from soap dispensers to security cameras on the line. The trend began on September 6th when a TikToker posted a video pulling a hand sanitizer dispenser from a backpack alongside the text, "Only a month into school," and got this absolute devious lick, as if celebrating school's return with the steal. The video got high school and college kids around TikTok excited, and within days, users were going viral left and right, showing off their devious licks, aka stolen goods. Some examples include a full microscope, a computer, a functioning paper towel dispenser, and an entire fire alarm ripped right from the wall. Some have taken the trend outside school walls.
As the guy mentioned, it did go beyond schools. Kids started stealing shit from all over the place and just calling it a devious lick, like movie theaters, churches, and things like that. So it wasn't just limited to schools, but that was absolutely the bulk of it. And it's been in the headlines for the last couple of days because it has been a huge deal for a lot of schools. It causes a lot in damage, and it's a massive inconvenience to the entire class because you're missing fucking entire toilets, A, and B, your school now has to have designated pee-pee times. So you better hope that your bathroom schedule lines up with the school's now. So obviously these kids were pretty proud of the things they stole, so they weren't shy of showing their names and faces with a lot of the shit, which has of course led to a lot of kids getting expelled for it. Imagine getting expelled because you were competing in a TikTok challenge to steal your school's paper towels. Like, how pathetic. Now, the thing is, you don't make any money off this, so these kids were doing it just for this idea, this wet dream of clout. On TikTok, these accounts weren't making anything. You have to like sign up for a TikTok partner program, and even then I think it's like $1 per 10 million views, which these were not getting, by the way, except for a couple. So it's not like they were really making money from doing this. They got expelled for nothing and got laughed at online by everyone except the brainwashed douchebags that were cheering them on in the TikTok comments. So that like brief dopamine hit of, oh, look at these 10 likes on TikTok, was probably not worth getting expelled, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I just haven't felt that true euphoric dopamine from a devious lick. You know, maybe that's what I'm missing. But yeah, a lot of these students have been expelled. They've been identified and publicly shamed in a lot of cases. So yeah, pretty rough, but they did it to themselves. It's a stupid fucking trend. It's really dumb. Somehow the bar keeps getting lower and lower for TikTok. Like, the second you think they hit rock bottom with the worst content ever, they find a way to break through that plateau and find something even more stupid and fucking awful. But yeah, I imagine now that TikTok has banned devious licks, it's going to die right then and there, because obviously they were only doing this for attention online, and since they won't be able to get that fixed, they won't bother. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were stealing from the bathroom just for the love of the sport. They just fucking loved collecting used urinals, you know? Like, hey, Charlie, don't you ever fucking say that again. I don't care about the TikTok clout. I stole this urinal because I fucking love to drink out of it. It's a great goblet. This is my new chalice. You know, I guess it's possible. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that love that shit. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe a month from now, every bathroom near a high school will just be completely ransacked and dilapidated, and written in blood on the wall it'll say devious licks. You know, who knows? I imagine it's probably done now that it's banned, but we'll see. That's about it. So yeah, I'm sure most of you have heard of the carnivore diet by now. It's not exactly so much a diet anymore as it is just a full-blown personality that people adopt, a full lifestyle now where their whole identity is, I only eat meat. and oftentimes it consists of consuming a lot of raw meat. And I've always just been fascinated by this raw meat eating community because I just don't get how they're not like plagued by trichinosis and infested with countless tapeworms, like an absolute nightclub of tapeworms in their gut. Because for me, if I eat a potato chip that's one day past the sell-by date, I get sick. Like, I get an irpy stomach. But meanwhile, they're out there consuming fermented meat that they leave out in the sun until it becomes what they call high meat, which is literally just fucking rotted poison meat. And they'll just eat that and they're totally fine somehow. It blows my mind. But anyway, I'm getting carried away. The reason I'm talking about carnivores today is because there's one that's blowing up on TikTok right now because they've made a spectacle out of their meat eating. And make no mistake, this guy eats more meat than an Aiden Ross fan. He's posted like hundreds of TikToks now doing like these goofy meat eating stunts. And I call them stunts, but it's not like he's doing a backflip while eating a beef liver or something like that. The stunts he does is like, I'll cook a steak in a sink and then I'll eat it and shit like that. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of the content because it's been getting big on Twitter as well. I had to cut out the music, but it's him making this steak in a sink and then eating a stick of butter with it. It's revolting. I couldn't imagine a worse meal or an easier way of contracting some kind of foodborne illness. But this is the content. He is legitimately consuming that. He's not spitting it out, he seems to be enjoying it as if this is an average meal for him that makes his tummy smile. Like, it is mind-blowing. And don't you worry, of course this guy is going to be a member of the Clean Plate Club. He gets every morsel of food in there. I do want to point out that it's extremely possible and even highly likely that he didn't actually eat the steak that was being cooked by the hot water in the sink. We don't see him grab that steak and put it on the plate. He could have swapped that out for a normally cooked steak. But I mean, he still ate a full fucking stick of butter in that case, which is just a gross idea in and of itself. And I wanted to talk about it because not only is it just wild and wacky, but I'm also pretty sure the guy behind the account is very self-aware with what he's doing and he's just made it like his gimmick. But what's crazy is he's so committed to the bit in the character that he actually does eat raw testicles. He eats full sticks of butter. He actually consumes it. But I'm almost confident, like 100% confident, that he knows it's like a joke and he's playing a character. I've never seen someone do so much method acting in my life, if that is truly the case, if I'm correct about that. Like, he has made his carnivore diet more of like a freak show thing. So he's making testicle butter pops, where he takes a raw testicle, puts a stick of butter in it, and bites it, for example.
Guys, if you have never had a testicle butter dog, you need to try this. Raw testicle with a little sliver of butter on the inside. There is seriously nothing better. This is going to give you all the signaling molecules to get you bucked up, and the healthy fats support your brain and your hormones. This is my favorite snack.
I'd also like to point out here that it's extremely possible he spit that out right after the TikTok finished. He just projectile vomited it out. We don't actually see him swallow it. I really do think, based on the way he talks and some of the things he says in the videos, that this whole thing is supposed to be a comedy persona that he's adopted and fucking giving his all to, out there at 110%. I'd like to give you an example on what I think is like the most obvious case of him kidding around with this whole thing, but it's very weird even still. Even if I'm right, it's still weird regardless. But this is a video he made where it's like some kind of bull penis snack.
Silly rabbit, Pizzles are for kids. Today we're making my favorite breakfast cereal, Pizzle-O's. This will have the kids begging for it. By now you guys know I'm a huge fan of bull pizzle recipes, so all you're going to do, you guys know this by now, you're going to put your penis in a pot of boiling water. And it's going to take a while, so be patient. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And before I do anything, I always rub my pee-pee with butter. And then you're going to cut it up nice and fine. Again, nobody wants to choke on the pizzle, so make sure they are nice and small. And this one still had a little junk in the tubes, but that's totally fine. It just adds to the flavor, and it just tastes so good, in my opinion. And once you're done, you're just going to add it to your bowl, and you can add a little bit of milk, but I like it straight. Let me know how you like this recipe.
I think it's super creepy that he keeps mentioning kids when talking about the penis snack, saying that the kids will be begging for it. I think that's super creepy regardless of the intention of the videos. But I do think this one is a clear demonstration that this is all supposed to be a bit because it's so over the top. Also, I think it's very important to notice that he made a cut. So he did have bull penis. He had that whole fucking bull wiener and he did cut it up, put it in a bowl. But when he was digging around with the spoon, there was a cut right before he had the spoon in his mouth. So I think there's a very real case that he didn't actually eat any of it. So I do think there is a case to be made that quite a few of these videos he's made are fake and meant to troll. Like, maybe even taking the piss out of raw meat eating to a certain degree. There are some that he doesn't fake, though, which is why it's so odd, because there are some where he does eat tons and tons of meat, and he does, like, every time I've seen, finish a fucking stick of butter to himself, but maybe that's his superpower. He's like a fucking X-Men whose only mutation was the ability to polish off entire sticks of butter solo by itself. So, I mean, maybe he was just blessed with that ability, but regardless, some of them I am just going to call out. They're not real. We don't actually see him swallow a lot of the raw meat stuff, especially the raw testicle stuff. One of them is just deceptive where we don't actually see him eat the Penguinz0 or any of that. So some of them are fake, but not all of them.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a testicle? Well, that's what we're going to find out today because we're making testy pops. These are testicle lollipops. All you need is a raw testicle, cut it up into 3 little bits. It's pretty simple, and this is very, very tasty. I personally love these. Lay them out on your parchment paper, and you're going to need some toothpicks and a little gloop of honey on each one. The kids are going to love these. Once you put enough honey on it, throw them in the freezer, and then you'll have the answer to how many licks does it take to get to the center of a testicle? Well,
yeah, every time he mentions a penis recipe, he mentions kids with it. Every single time, pretty much. It's fucking weird. It's pretty disturbing. Now, in this case with the testicle pops, again, we don't see him swallow it. He does, you know, take a lick of the old testicle pop, but I was expecting an old Tootsie Pop commercial where the kid gives it to an owl. How many licks to get to the center? A 1, a 2, a 3, and then takes a bite of it. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't actually swallow it, eat it, anything like that. He just puts it in his mouth for like a second. So again, I think this is a case of he probably spit it right out instantly afterward.
This is what happens when you eat 4 pounds of ground beef and sticks of butter every single day for months. And no, I'm not exaggerating. This is my carnivore diet dirty bulk. Starting out at 185 back in August, 3% body fat, visible abs. And this is me today at 205 pounds, feeling a little out of shape. But for the past 6 months, we have been way overeating. I'm talking sticks of butter wrapped in prosciutto, tablespoons of maple syrup on everything I eat multiple times a day, beef tongue on white rice, and these are all very nutrient dense foods. I was just overeating them for every single meal for months on end. And keep in mind, I really wasn't doing any weightlifting over this period. I was just doing a lot of rowing. Here's me out at lunch having a stick of butter. I would actually do this.
This is another one that showcases, like, there are times where he legitimately does consume the food that's on his plate. Like, that 3 pounds of beef and a full stick of butter, he does eat all of that. And he doesn't have a beverage. He makes sure to point that out, saying no bev. And he's right. He doesn't have anything to lubricate the gears there. He just straight up eats all of that. And then he does shove a stick of butter right down his gullet in public. The confidence to do something like that is almost admirable. But then there is an example of one where he doesn't swallow. That's the butter wrapped in raw meat or whatever. I already forgot what it was. But like that's another one where we don't see him like actually eat that or anything. So I don't know. I feel like there are real videos in here, but sprinkled throughout there are the more outrageous ones where he's clearly not actually finishing those. Like those are all put on for the sake of the quick TikTok and that's it. Like the Penguinz0 I'm going to harp on quite heavily because there is a cut. We don't actually ever even see him eat a Penguinz0. So he probably faked that entire one right there. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about him a little bit because it's still fascinating. If this is all a character and a gimmick, that I think it is because a lot of the videos seem a little more blatant than others. There's one where he's talking about like taking trin and shit that's clearly like very tongue-in-cheek. But there are some where it's like, maybe this guy actually does eat this way. It's just a very interesting situation that I thought was at least worth mentioning. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Fear of the unknown is probably the most popular fear on the planet. I feel like most people are afraid of things they don't fully understand, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. And I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, but I am fascinated and disturbed by a very popular branch of TikTok live streaming content that's blowing up right now. I'm like a dog when you get a vacuum cleaner out. I cower in fear because I really don't understand it. Now, TikTok live streams already have a reputation for being horrible. It's just an absolute wasteland. It's full of trash, more so than a landfill. I don't think there's ever even accidentally been a good TikTok live stream, except for the time a ton of people were illegally rebroadcasting the Super Bowl on there. Just going onto that platform to watch live streams is like going to an active war zone to tiptoe around landmines, but in this case, there's no safe spot to tiptoe. You always hit a landmine of fucking cringe.
Gang gang. Gang gang. Ooh. Ice cream so good. Yeah, strong woman. Balloon. Yeah, strong woman.
This is what we're here to talk about. This is some kind of NPC live streaming trend where TikTok creators go live and then just act like NPCs here. Someone really summed it up best by saying that this feels like someone canceling combos in a fighting game. She just keeps randomly emoting like if you're spamming taunts in Chivalry 2 or in like Super Smash Bros. Melee. Show me your moves. Oh, yeah, show me your moves. Show me your moves. I don't know how long she streams for, but it's gotta be fucking exhausting. It is non-stop jingling keys with no breaks. Because she's smart. She knows that on TikTok, kids leave if there's even a split second of dead air. Silence is the #1 enemy on TikTok. Silence is the devil. It's like the opposite of a quiet place where you have to be quiet to keep monsters away. This is the loud fucking doofusville platform where you have to be making as much noise as possible and stimulation out the wazoo or else people immediately turn it off. Which is why most popular videos have like 5 different tiny videos inside of them, like cutting soap in half with a knife, or the loud sounds of 5 trash cans being slammed together like cymbals while Temple Run's playing on the bottom right and GTA 5's on the top left. And she's come up with a more effective money-making strategy than free armor trimming in RuneScape. She is constantly acting out tips. So, people tip her, and she acts out the associated emoji with it, which incentivizes more people to keep tipping, which keeps supplying the stream with the NPC content.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, strong woman. Yeah, strong woman. Slay, huh? Oh, take your gaps. I love you. Slay, huh? Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Yeah, strong woman. Ugh. Fire. Butterfly. Beautiful. Okay. Fire. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Oh, where's my feet? Ooh, gang, 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 gang. Yes, popcorn. Gang, 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 gang. Fire. Gang, gang. Pop. Amazing. Ooh.
For those that don't know how it works, on TikTok, they're so quirky and raw XD random that instead of just donating to a creator on live, you tip them with like emojis. So you give them like some roses or a dragon or a galaxy or a lemon or some shit like that. And then the creator can take this random assortment of Microsoft clip art and then turn it into money. So that's what's happening here. She's getting these tips and then she's just doing a short little performance with the tips as like an NPC. And on TikTok, it seems like people are constantly tipping. It seems like one of people's favorite pastimes on TikTok lives is giving away all of the money they have to their name. Like, these kids are like 12 years old and just give their whole allowance to TikTok creators in order for an actual split second of acknowledgement. So here, she doesn't actually like acknowledge the donators. She just acknowledges the dumbbell, for example. And she'll do like a little performance when you tip a dumbbell. I don't know how much money that is. Fucking 5 glue bucks or something. I have no idea what the conversion rate in money to emote is on TikTok. But that's the whole strategy, and it's very effective. She's not the only one doing it, but she is the most popular right now. And she is engaging in a bit of whimsical silliness by having a hair iron out and popping individual popcorn kernels with it. So that's just another, like, piece of the puzzle here for keeping people hooked on it, because it's so weird and wacky that it makes it mysterious and mystical. Like, oh my god, she's cooking popcorn with a hair iron, kernel by kernel, slowly? Why, I never. I gotta message my friends to turn off the Finger Family videos. We gotta get in here quickly. They gotta see this. She's cooking popcorn with a hair iron. There's nothing like it. You don't want to miss it. So it works out really well because it's a combination, a perfect storm, a geostorm for everything that works on TikTok. Perpetual stimulation while, you know, being able to constantly spam the emotes and talking so there's never any silence, while also having that like XD random with the popcorn and hair iron, which is something that does very well on TikTok. So she's fucking crushing it. Now there's a lot of copycats doing it. So the big trend is a ton of TikTok creators like her doing this exact same performance, and they all do well, but she's by far the biggest. So they like move around, like they have idle animations. It's like you're on the Choose Your Fighter screen in Mortal Kombat, but for them, the only fatality they have is fucking cringe.
Yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me read it, huh? Gang gang. Gang gang. Gang gang. Ice cream so good. Gang gang. Gang gang. Yes, yes, yes. Gang gang. Gang gang. Ice cream so good. Oh, take it, I am. You got me feeling like a queen, huh? Slay, huh? Slay, huh? Gang gang. Gang gang. Ice cream so good. Balloon. Gang gang. Gang gang. Gang gang. Oh, what is that? Gang gang. Balloon. Gang gang. Gang gang. Ice cream so good.
If this isn't evidence of people's brains devolving thanks to TikTok, I don't know what is. This is the purest example of what's happening with your brain on TikTok, where now all you need is just noise and you're entertained. Again, it's the same performance every time. She has a set list of how she responds to the emotes, and she doesn't deviate from it, and she very rarely breaks character. She only broke character one time over the last, like, 4 days I've seen this, and it was brief, very brief, like, actually just 5 seconds, and then right back into it. There's no interaction. There's nothing beyond just seeing the same emotes over and over again. It's like if you watched a 10-hour compilation of the same 5 Fortnite emotes repeated forever. And you keep tuning in every day and you're giving money to it in order to keep fueling the perpetual motion machine. Very smart on her end, but man, I don't get how she is like averaging 40,000 viewers all watching this same performance every fucking day. It's mind-blowing to me. It's baffling. Nothing but respect to the creators capitalizing off of this here, but nothing but shame for seeing the state that entertainment for young people is in. I was just talking about Skibbity Toilet yesterday, like actually applauding it by saying, finally, a piece of content I think is pretty solid in a sea of dog shit content for kids. There was finally something like a bright light at the end of the tunnel with Skibbity Toilet, finally something that looked like maybe good content still exists for kids. And then immediately I started jumping into this rabbit hole with the NPC live streams, and I'm right back to where I started, where I feel like every single kid is doomed to failure for the rest of their life thanks to their brain being rotted by TikTok. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit because I found it pretty interesting and obviously kind of goofy. So that's about it. See ya. Yeah, I've got COVID again. This makes number 5 for me. I'm the Michael Jordan of COVID. Pretty much anytime I go to like an event, I'm guaranteed to get COVID, it seems. It's really infuriating. I'm the faker of getting COVID. I was even considering doing a tier list for all of my experiences with it so far, but we'll see. The only reason I mention that is because I'm going to sound congested here. My voice might also start cracking, but I don't really feel like editing all that much, so I'll probably just leave it in. Just know it's not a second puberty or anything. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this trend. Maybe? I don't know. I only just learned about it today, but it's been going on for about a month, where OnlyFans creators are putting AI Down syndrome filters on their content to try and drive more clicks to their OnlyFans. I took the audio out because of DMCA, but they're all exactly the same, where it's hypersexual, like my pussy doesn't have Down syndrome or whatever, and then ChatGPT captions to accompany it. There are so many accounts and so many examples to pull from. We'll get into some notorious ones in a minute, but in some cases it's the management teams that are doing this, where they're taking their creators and then making like a separate account for them where it's all AI Down syndrome filters on the content to link back to the other OnlyFans. So it's a tactic to try and drum up more clicks to it. I can't exactly find the genesis of this, what started the trend, but it goes back about a month ago from what I can tell, and it is blown up. There are so many of these, and there's a lot of articles being written about it now, about the fetishization of Down syndrome and also just using AI to pretend that these OnlyFans creators have disabilities to try and get more people to their OnlyFans. It's fucking weird. There are so many like this one here where it's not even close to being convincing. You can actually just see the filter fall off anytime she turns around. So like right there, you can see the filter snap back to her face. And every single one of these always has very similar captions that are clearly just AI generated, talking about like, the label doesn't define this and that. And then it goes into the most hyper-sexualized shit ever, like, just because I have Down syndrome doesn't mean I can't go down on your fucking nutsack and suck the piss out of your balls. I will literally suck the cum out like Shang Tsung extracting a soul. And then they all link to an OnlyFans. Now, on that OnlyFans, I don't know if they continue to keep up the ruse that they have a disability. Like, if they continue to just do, like, the AI filters and all of that. But there is a YouTuber who did pay for some of them. His name is Tuv. He did a whole investigation on this and a couple of other things that stem from it. According to him, in most cases of his research, they weren't showing their face, or they'd hide it behind like their phone when they took a picture or something like that. Now, another thing, a lot of these accounts have started to be aware of the fact that you can sometimes see the AI filter glitch when the video has them like turn around when dancing or whatever. So a lot of them are also now starting to only do front-facing stuff, because then the filter isn't prone to glitching as much, which makes it harder to tell if it's fake. So it seems like they're trying to perfect the art of faking disabilities using AI. Now, in some cases, there's been degenerate, loveless weirdos that should be launched into space that are taking people's videos and then putting the AI Down syndrome filter on them to try and make money off it without that person even knowing it was going on. I know in one case there was a TikToker who had her dance videos taken by one of these fucking lobotomites, and he just put the Down syndrome filter on it. She had no idea, didn't sign off on it at all, and was very appalled by it. So that does happen, but I do also think this is a new tactic being used by OnlyFans creators as well as management teams to try and get more clicks to OnlyFans through pretending to have disabilities and shit like that. Like, here's an example of one that I have no idea if the person in the video knows that this is going on or if it's something they signed off on themselves. But it's a little person with the Down syndrome filter on their face. They have the F-, fucking book report captions that are all just AI generated. It's verbatim the same shit that other people doing this trend are just copying. It is one-to-one, just the same nomenclature and everything. And also, of course, it's always sexualized and always trying to link to OnlyFans accounts and shit. By the way, apparently this combination of being a little person with Down syndrome has only ever been reported 6 times. And the bio for this account says that they're one of 7, claiming that they're the 7th case. Faking disabilities is nothing new. AI's just made it far easier for any goober on the planet to try this. And it's not just the Down syndrome filter that they're using here. They're also doing it for fake amputees and shit like that. That's another really popular one. Like, this is the actual golden age of degeneracy, because all of these fucking weirdos can do this easily now. AI is currently unleashing the infinite Tsukiyomi upon this planet, trapping us in an endless nightmare of degeneracy. They can just keep making all of this fetish content, all of this fake fetish content shit forever. Now, again, I don't know if the OnlyFans creators like the little person there or any of the other ones engaging in this are actually even aware that it's happening, or if it is just third parties or maybe even their managers that are doing it without them knowing. Couldn't tell you, but either way, it is fucking gross. It is crazy that we've reached the point where we're just using AI to fake Down syndrome so more people will click on the OnlyFans and spend money on it. What the fuck? Anyway, I guess just for a tiddlywink of lore, from what I can tell, this was the first fake Down syndrome video that really popped off and like blew up the trend, as well as this one right here was another extremely successful one. So I guess this would maybe be the genesis of it. And now there is thousands, specifically about Down syndrome, all faked AI hypersexualizations and fetishizations of Down syndrome. It is absurd. It's fucking preposterous. Like I mentioned, it's not just Down syndrome, but that is the most popular one right now. It is all kinds of other disabilities that they're faking for OnlyFans revenue. Fucking crazy stuff. Just wanted to talk about that a bit. That's it. See ya.
I'm a huge fan of internet weirdos that post content online. I get really excited when I find a new entertaining goofball. And over the years, I've kind of made this collection in my little noodle up here, like a little mental museum of my favorite internet oddities. and I'll sometimes just get the urge to see how they're doing. So I'll go to their content, put their sack in my hand, and tell them to cough, to give them a checkup, just to see what's going on and have a little laugh. And recently, I was made aware of one of the most bafflingly delusional content creators I've seen in quite some time, which is a TikTok psychic named Ashley. I made a video on her going over her whole situation. I'll break it down just in case you don't know who this is. Ashley is a self-proclaimed clairvoyant psychic who tries to solve real-world mysteries. She uses less reasoning than Scooby-Doo does in the cartoon. Like, she doesn't even bother actually investigating. She just makes up fan fiction that she pulls out of her ass and then tries to portray it as the truth. So she recently made like 100-something TikTok videos accusing a woman named Rebecca Schofield of being the person responsible for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. This is a complete baseless claim. She used tarot card readings as well as her own patented method of tapping into the universal consciousness, surfing the cosmic vibes of astrology or whatever, and accusing Rebecca Schofield relentlessly of being the murderer. She's now being sued for this because, as it turns out, Rebecca Schofield is completely innocent. It seems Ashley is going to need to spend a little more time mastering the avatar state to get the proper information, because here's the main suspect, Bryan Kohberger. Now, even if it somehow turns out by a crazy plot twist it's not Bryan, even though there is a ton of fucking evidence behind it being him, it is still 100% not Rebecca Schofield, as Ashley has claimed hundreds of times now. Now, you would assume that a rational person, after being sued for defamation for accusing an innocent woman of being a murderer, and the most likely real murderer being arrested, you'd think that she'd then be like, yep, looks like I was wrong, this is a big boo-boo from me here, sorry about all that. The natural next step would be apologizing and trying to move on from it, backpedaling like, looks like I made a mistake, the spirit realm was, the Wi-Fi signals were blocking it and I didn't have my shungite around me. But in the case of Ashley, you'd be wrong, because she commits even further to the delusion, and even after the threat of being slapped around legally, she is still maintaining that she's correct and everyone else is wrong. I'd like to show you some of these TikToks, and I already did talk about some of these in the last video I made, but I actually want to bring this out to a bigger topic, and that's people's inability to accept responsibility even when faced with the absolute truth. People are so afraid of being wrong that they will just do the most unrealistic mental gymnastics that you couldn't even write in a fucking cartoon in order to justify how they're still correct and they're not wrong. I've seen this all over Twitter. When someone gets dunked on Twitter, like they get provably dunked on with facts, logic, evidence, they still will discredit it or come up with some reason that that evidence, the facts, the proven truth is wrong and they are right. It's this weird defense mechanism that's so infuriating. You see it all the time with flat earthers. How many times have flat earthers proven with their own experiments that the world is round, and yet they still decide to believe that it's flat? It's people still just wanting to feel special. And it doesn't matter what you bring to them, no matter how bulletproof the evidence or the truth is, they'll just decide not to care. They'll just go back to that belief that makes them feel like they're above everyone else and their intelligence is unrivaled. It really grinds my asshole, like chafes the fuck out of it. I went on Ashley's TikTok today because I thought it'd be fun just to have a little giggle. But as I watched her videos, that smile quickly turned to a frown, and I just got so frustrated listening to her try and justify how she's still right.
Also, let's pay attention to the statement the University of Idaho gave regarding the lawsuit that Rebecca Schofield has against me, but also the accusations that I made that she was the one who ordered and who is responsible for the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students. It says, while this lawsuit is a private matter, U of I does not condone spreading false information and find this particular allegation to be one of the worst we have seen.
That sounds reasonable. Straight and to the point. This is false information and some of the worst we've ever seen. Also, the fan fiction she's writing is absolute garbage and fucking trash. She should stop trying to write these erotic novels that she's cooking up here and trying to pass it off as real evidence in a legitimate murder where 4 students lost their lives. She's trying to capitalize off the death of these 4 students with for her own clout. So there was a lot more they could have said to really just, you know, drive the nail in, but they made a very generic boilerplate response that still just kind of covers this, like, the whole situation.
They've made it clear that they do not condone the spreading of false information. That's one. And for this one, they believe that the allegations I've made is the worst they've seen. Let's pay attention to what they didn't say, which is they didn't say that they agree that Rebecca Schofield didn't know these students. They didn't say that they agree that she didn't teach these students. And they didn't say that they agree that she didn't advise or mentor any of these students. This statement is carefully written, just in case she's guilty.
Getting your arm caught in an escalator and having it crushed to fucking pieces in front of you would be less painful and less traumatizing than listening to her speak about this situation. I don't even know where to begin. Let's start with the obvious. What the fuck are you even trying to say? Here's their statement. But here's what's suspiciously absent from their statement. This is some stupid shit a 4-year-old would cook up in their head. You can actually make this argument for every statement ever. For example, with your own TikToks, you have not once said that you aren't the murderer. Should I start suspecting you as a culprit in this case, as one of the chief suspects? You've made hundreds of TikToks, and I don't think you've mentioned being innocent here. Where were you on the night of the murders, Ashley? It's very odd that you've chosen not to proclaim your innocence or mention where you were on the night of the murders. Now, I'm starting to, you know, furrow my brow a bit here and wonder, what's going on behind the scenes, Ashley? Why hasn't that been part of any of your statements? Peculiar, isn't it? They didn't address any of the brain-dead shit that you said in this TikTok in their statement because they didn't fucking need to. It's already been proven by law enforcement that you're just wrong on every single goddamn claim.
It's a lot of people on YouTube, on the news and articles, the comments, TikTok videos, whatever. When the truth comes out and you see that I'm right, I just want you guys to leave that stuff up and stand on what you said. Don't delete it and try to bandwagon. Stand on it.
Your arrogance makes me want to cry. Ashley, if anything comes out that's even remotely adjacent to you making a claim that's almost grounded in reality, I will actually shit my fucking pants. Of course I will keep it all up. For those that don't know, a bulk of her claims were about Rebecca Schofield and her internalized lesbianism, where she was an advisor or a mentor to one of the students and she fell in love with her, but this conflicted with her traditional values, and then the student, you know, she was kind of old, and then, but what about Rebecca's husband? And she just made like a 50 Shades of Grey novel around real murders and blaming a real innocent lady for all of it. And not only her, she also throws another real person under the bus as a potential murderer here, talking about how they, you know, like fucking formed this kind of villain alliance here and hired assassins to take out the students. It's an unreal amount of garbage, and it actually does make me upset that she truly believes it so firmly.
I took a nap. I tried to quit, but I can't quit. And I don't even want to cry on you, but when I went to sleep, I had a dream. And in the dream, it was Kaylee's mom and Kaylee's dad. And I was by Kaylee's mom, and we were just crying. And that is so hurtful. But anyway, I'm not gonna quit. I've mistakenly let them lead me into masculine energy, which is protective energy, because of the lawsuits and all the negativity and the media and the comments and things of that sort. I've let them force me into masculinity, protective energy. But I should have continued to focus on what I know, which is feminine, intuitive, receptive energy.
Absolutely disgusting. She's now talking about how one of the victims' parents came to her in a dream and they were crying together over all of this. And then, you know, all of the negativities forcing her into masculine energy. Whatever the fuck that means. I did, however, get a laugh out of this whole, like, masculine versus feminine energy thing, as if it's just something that can wash over you because some people left mean comments or called you out on your bullshit. Like, damn, goodness gracious, I looked at a piece of wood today and the masculine energy nearly made me pass out. Or like, hey, Charlie, we're going to a bar tonight, are you in? Nah, sorry, I can't, bro. I ate a Pop-Tart earlier today and I got hit with some childish energy, so now I'm no longer old enough to drink. But you guys have fun tonight. Just such a fucking stupid, silly thing.
Long story short, I'm not posting no more free information regarding this case online anymore. You got people on here asking me information and using my information, then turn around and saying I'm crazy or leading protests against me and allowing me to be badgered.
Even when she does decide to shut the fuck up, which I imagine she was advised to do by a lawyer who's instructing her to stop, hit the brakes as hard as possible, and stop posting this shit, she still tries to spin it as like a victory for her, and we're all the bad guys for calling her out on how deplorable the whole thing is. So yeah, I just wanted to go over this because I am so tired of people just refusing to accept reality. Like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like, changing your beliefs is a natural thing. It's healthy. You should change your beliefs. You shouldn't have the same beliefs right now as you did 10 fucking years ago. You should be evolving as you're getting new information, you're learning new things. Your beliefs should also be evolving as well. There is no reason to stick to something that is provably wrong and false. It just makes no goddamn sense, and it made me upset today, damn it, and I needed to rant. That's about it. So yeah. This is another one of those sad situations where I have to admit Twitch chat was right and I look like a bumbling imbecile now. About a month ago, chat was trying to convince me that there was a viral TikTok challenge that was getting people to steal cars and sometimes crash them for views, and I wrote that off as a bunch of baloney. I said, I doubt that's an actual trend, probably just one stupid asshole did it, called it a challenge, and no one ever followed. But it turns out I was wrong. Not only is this boogeyman real, but it actually has led to the death of 4 teenagers this week. Somehow, the challenges continue to get more and more brain dead and dangerous. This generation of Tide Pod eating and hurting yourself for views on TikTok is reaching an absolutely absurd level of wildness. So, it's called the Kia Challenge. It's also not really a challenge, it's more of just a ruin your life speedrun tutorial. Basically, the only goal to be completed with the Kia Challenge is to steal a car and post yourself stealing the car on TikTok. It honestly sounds like it's something made by the CIA to catch potential car thieves. You're fucking instructing them to post evidence of their crime online, making it the easiest slam dunk arrest ever. But anyway, the Kia Challenge was videos that were teaching others how to steal Kias and Hyundais specifically because of a massive vulnerability in many models from Kia and Hyundai. For Kia vehicles, many of them built from 2011 to 2021 have this problem, and for Hyundais, those built from 2015 to 2021 also have this problem. I'm not here to teach you how to do it, I'm not your Thieves Guild sensei, but I will tell you, it is shockingly fucking easy. It's mind-blowing how stupid and simple it is. These cars are more insecure than me going through puberty. They basically steal themselves, honestly. It takes seconds, like actual seconds. Not even like mini seconds, like maybe 2 or 3 tops. It's fucking baffling, honestly. So, since this challenge went viral, there's been this massive increase in thefts with Kia and Hyundais, and this week it led to 4 teenagers dying. In a few of the Kia Challenge videos that are still available online, the people in them are driving recklessly, and in a couple of them even crash. However, this one happened to be a fatal single-car accident, killing 4 of the passengers here, and now the driver's facing a felony charge. Pretty sad story all around, and it all stems from a little TikTok trend. Just when you thought we'd seen the dumbest trends from that platform with like devious licks and shit like that, they've gone even harder now. But I think it's very important we discuss what a massive fuck up this is from Kia and Hyundai. How in the world, 2,000 years after the death of Jesus, with all the technology we have now, how can you have this massive vulnerability? It's obviously a massive problem here, so much so that they have now been served a class action lawsuit as of late September because these vehicles that they manufactured during the time periods I listed don't have immobilizers on them, which as I understand is standard among pretty much all the other automobiles out there, I'm not much of a car guy. I don't know too much about that shit. I know more about the anatomy of a fucking alien than I would a car's engine and what goes into vehicles. But according to the lawsuit, the engine immobilizers are crucial, and they've come at Kia and Hyundai for not having them, stating that they valued profits over safety and security of their customers. And it also outlines just how big of a problem it's become. It is just an absolute epidemic with all of these car thefts with the Kia and Hyundai models here, and it all ties back to the lack of engine immobilizer, as I understand it. And it seems like this was a massive blunder here, because all the extra doubloons they were able to squeeze out of their profit margins is all about to whittle away here and probably end in some net loss with this class action lawsuit. It's a huge deal, obviously. And just a really sad trend all around, since it ended in the death of 4 teenagers who probably wouldn't have stolen this car if they weren't fed the information on how to do it, as well as also fed the idea that by doing it, they'd gain TikTok clout. I believe at the time, and according to this article, the Kia Challenge category on TikTok, like the trend where all of these things lived, had 5.9 billion views across all of the videos there. Now, of course, not all of them were views on videos of people actually stealing the cars. A lot of them were people talking about how dangerous the challenge is. But there was, of course, quite a few videos actually showcasing just the blatant theft of Kias and Hyundais in there, in the Kia Boys area. And just fucking awful stuff. TikTok cracked down on it and banned those accounts and shut all of the Kia Boys, Kia Challenge stuff down, but even still, you can still find quite a few of them, and it clearly does still exist in some capacity because this only happened this week. So it's still a rather popular idea, even if not like a direct trend on TikTok anymore. So just wanted to talk about this a little bit, since this was just a situation where I was just absolutely wrong when Twitch chat was bringing me some new information here that I just refused to believe. It was so outlandish, I didn't believe it. I didn't think anyone would ever actually start a trend of just crime, and I was proven wrong. And it's very sad. Not sad about me being proven wrong, just the actual subject matter here being sad. That's about it. See ya. A clout-obsessed goofball on TikTok just ate parasites for views. He turned his stomach into Coachella for tapeworms when he knowingly ate tapeworms out of a fish that he was filleting, which to the surprise of no one apparently gave him a very serious parasitic infection here. Who could have seen that coming? He was eating tapeworms out of the fish like it was popcorn. I'm exaggerating a little bit. He did try to cook it to make it a little safer, but then I'll get into it a bit deeper in a moment. I'm getting into spoilers here for the anime arc. But anyway, his name is Nick, and his insatiable appetite for great high-quality fish was eclipsed by his gluttony for TikTok attention. I learned about this from a YouTuber named Atozy, so I appreciate him shedding light on this story because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise. So let's just get into it. Actually, pump the brakes real quick, hold your horses. Sorry for the blue balls. In Atozy's video, he censors the part that shows the tapeworms because there's a lot of blood there, because obviously he's filleting a fish, so there's going to be blood. I don't know if you have to do that on YouTube, but I'm not going to for this. I feel if I don't show the tapeworms, then there's always going to be that question in the back of people's mind on, is it fake? Because most things on the internet are fake these days, but this one, I don't think is. It would be very impressive props here to have a fish with tapeworms that look like this.
Let's go fishing in the hurricane. I'm gonna be using a whopper flopper, which is a topwater lure. This guy's coming in at 13 inches and a quarter. He has some nice fillets on him. There's pulling all over the place. Realizing that he has tapeworms, so it's gonna be pretty tough to eat. I looked it up, and apparently if you cook the fish thoroughly, the tapeworms shouldn't affect you, but I can't say that I'm not experiencing problems after I ate it.
So everything was business as usual here. Nick is a big TikTok creator. He has over 6 million followers, and it was just a normal filleting of a fish until he saw the tapeworms, and then, oh boy howdy, he got some dollar signs in his eyes, and he started to recognize that that is the gold right there. He just got the jackpot, because now he had something that he could do that's a little different that would generate some views for him. Eat the tapeworms. Because for some reason, everyone's like so poisoned with content brain that even something that is detrimental to your health, like eating a tapeworm, is something that people think is a good idea because it'll get extra views with people pointing and laughing at you or calling you an idiot, and that's all that matters, is if you're getting extra attention. So he does it.
This is the filet I got. I seasoned it, threw it in the pan, and then presented it right next to the tapeworms, which was a mistake. Yo, low-key, like, the tapeworms add some flavor. They're pretty good. This might be TMI. It's been 2 days and I've not stopped going to the bathroom. I'm kind of afraid that I literally have tapeworms in my stomach. I've never gone to the bathroom this much in my life. I'm mildly concerned. If you know anything about this in the comments, please let me know because I'm kind of afraid that I have a parasite.
Hey Nick, I'm not a medical professional, but you ate tapeworms, so I'm going to say with a high level of confidence, you probably contracted a parasite. But, you know, I'm not highly educated when it comes to parasites. I'm just doing the old eyeball test here. Now, you can shit all over Nick like he's a public toilet seat. You can make fun of him for a lot of different things here for all the fuck-ups with eating the tapeworms, but one thing you can't hold against him, one thing you can't say he did wrong was his presentation. He has a talent for plating. I tell ya, that technique was flawless. The way he presented the filet and the tapeworms was exquisite. That's something Gordon Ramsay would give his stamp of approval to. That was S-tier plating right there. It's just a shame that he was plating a tapeworm buffet.
Update on the tapeworms that I ate the other day. I went to the doctor and he said it is more than likely that I have tapeworm or some kind of parasite inside me. I'm going to the bathroom nonstop. My stomach is killing me. He prescribed me 3 different medications that are anti-parasitic. We've all seen that video of the bear that has like a 50-foot tapeworm coming out of his butt, and that literally could have been me if I didn't get to the doctor in time.
I've never seen that video, Nick. I don't even know why you'd assume that I'd see that video. I'm not looking up bear ass, and certainly not infected bear ass. But now that I've seen the clip, what a wacky one, huh? Jesus Christ. That tapeworm leaking out of its anus, that looks like it's just landed after skydiving. Like, it looks like the parachute strings when you're, like, walking away with your parachute bag and all that hanging out. That is a crazy tapeworm. Is that some kind of world record, or is that kind of normal? I don't really look into, you know, parasites all that often, shockingly.
The doctor didn't know what kind of worm it was, so he just like gave me all the different anti-parasitic things. Some of the worms cause seizure, muscle damage, and like you can lose your eyesight because the worms get in there. If there is any lesson you learned from this, it would be do not eat worms inside of a bath.
A lesson I didn't think anyone ever needed to be taught. I feel like that's just basic common human knowledge that everyone would intrinsically be born with. The only reason you ate them is because your mind is so warped and rotted from all of this desire for more and more TikTok attention that for some reason you were able to justify putting your health at risk here. Now, interestingly, it only gets worse from here. So he went to the doctor, apparently got, you know, some medication to help combat the mystery worm inside of him, even though I don't think it's much of a mystery. If I was playing a game of Guess Who, I think I'd get this one on my first guess. I think the culprit is a tapeworm. I'll take the mask off of the villain here like it's Scooby-Doo. I think it's a tapeworm that you've contracted. Yeah, just a hunch. But anyway, he gets the medication. He's now got a plan of attack here to get himself feeling better. And then something very, very interesting happens. This video gets posted.
Update on the tapeworm situation with Nick. 7:30 this morning, Nick passed away at the Kaiser Hospital. I was with him over the last 24 hours and he wanted me to inform you guys on the situation. Nick was on anti-parasitic medication and unfortunately it was not working. The worm spread to his eyes and brain. By the time we made it to the hospital, it was clear that Nick was not going to be able to make it.
That's when the really dramatic organ music comes in. Doom! So he didn't survive, apparently. So this is a friend of his, I guess, announcing that he passed away from the tapeworms that he contracted from eating the fish. Much to the chagrin of his audience, who was very upset, saying things like, you know, fly high, Nick, you know, rest in peace, this and that. It's just a real sad situation to see someone go down this way.
Tomorrow Eternal Funeral Services is where we're going to be hosting something for Nick at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. It is going to be an open casket. He wanted you to know. Hopefully you guys can all remember him fondly and I'll be seeing you guys all at the service.
I apologize for the trauma I just gave you guys. I assure you I'm happy, I'm here, and I'm going to be making content for a very long time.
Oh my god, it's a miracle! He's not dead! Oh, we've been fooled! He played us like a fiddle. Wow! You know, just like Dino Spumoni, he faked his own death here with the ultimate goof. So, this is the cringiest shit ever. What's even wilder is the day before, or I don't know if it was exactly the day before, but the video before this, He actually had posted something about losing his brother, talking about the death of his brother here. And I think that one's being truthful. I don't think that one's also some kind of sick fucking twisted joke. So that's some psychopath shit to go from talking about the death of your brother into misleading your audience of children into thinking that you're dead. Now, no one watches the full video for things. Not on YouTube, not on TikTok. People don't even read past the headline on an article on Twitter before, you know, clicking off and already making up their mind about it. So not many people watch the whole video for when Nick came out of nowhere with a patriotic, heroic return. So most people just assume that the guy talking in the beginning here was being honest. You know, like they just took him at his word because they don't know any better. They're young kids on TikTok. It was also super weird that they just dropped a funeral service homepage and told people that there was a celebration of life, a funeral taking place there for Nick. And like I said, a lot of people didn't watch the whole video, so I'm curious if anyone actually showed up to that place expecting a service.
Don't cancel me, Nick made me do it. The anti-parasitic medication did work, guys. I am feeling a lot better.
I am editing this video right now, and it is definitely the wildest publicity stunt I've ever done. I have officially faked my own death.
I made a joke about Dino Spumoni, which is a reference to Hey Arnold. It's a guy who actually did fake his own death. That's not what you did, though. You didn't fake your own death. All you did was just lie. Like for only like 20 seconds, too. You just had your friend come out and say that you were dead. It's not faking your own death. That's just like a really lazy, lame prank. Like, that's like the pranks I would do on April Fool's Day in middle school when I'd tell my friends Dragon Ball Z spoilers that weren't real. Like, it's just dumb. Like, it's not some clever, crafty plot that you've hatched, like some genius plan to fool everybody. I think there's a good chance the tapeworms weren't actually defeated and his friend is right. The worm spread to his brain. Because you have to have brain worms to have come up with this idea. It's so fucking stupid and weird.
I'm really happy that you guys are holding me accountable for this because creators lying to their audiences is not cool, especially in the manner that I did. I was under the impression that because I was at the end of the video that it would wind up being taken as a lighthearted joke. I should have definitely seen that that was a super foolish take. It was just dumb.
Yeah, he followed it up with this apology video. His audience said, "Too much cringe, I'm out, lame joke, trash, goodbye." And he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm sorry. This was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking, it was stupid." You know, I can't tell you how effective it was. I'm not overly familiar with Nick outside of the tapeworms saga here. But yeah, I just wanted to cover this story because it's just a perfect example of how delusional people have become, that they will put their health at risk just for the sake of a couple extra views on TikTok, and then follow through with even stupider plans like pretending that you died for like 20 seconds, I guess for the sake of shock views or something. I don't really know, but it's just all very stupid. I want to talk about it. That's about it. See ya. I'm becoming more and more convinced that TikTok is actually a weapon used to weed out stupid people. Because this story is not the first of its kind. This is not an isolated incident where a TikTok trend or challenge leads to a lot of fatalities. It's honestly getting to the point where these headlines feel like they're AI generated. Like the one we're talking about today feels like a fake story put into Grand Theft Auto as a joke. Just something they slid in there as something silly. But it's apparently legitimate. There's a TikTok trend called the boat jumping challenge, which is responsible for at least 4 people's deaths recently. And the challenge, as the name would imply, is jumping off of a boat going extremely fast. You don't need a master's degree in physics to figure out why this is dangerous, but just in case, I'll lay down the brass tacks, so I'm gonna sit you down in the classroom here for the lecture, so spit out your gum. Since the boat is moving so fast, when you jump off of it, you hit the water hard as shit. You generate a lot of force behind that impact. It's a goddamn wallop. So, what's happening is, when people are jumping off of the boats, they're hitting the water and then snapping their necks and drowning. It's an easily preventable and probably the most embarrassing death imaginable because you killed yourself for a goofy-ass TikTok challenge. And I also hate that everything in the world is called a challenge these days. That word has lost all meaning. There's nothing challenging about this. Jumping off a boat doesn't have any level of difficulty or skill to it. The only challenge, I guess, is surviving it. Like, avoiding being banished to the fucking Shadow Realm for it. But I'm so fucking tired of everything getting called a challenge, you know? Here's the poop without wiping challenge. You take a shit and you don't use any toilet paper or a bidet to clean your anus. Expert difficulty, ultra nightmare mode, impossible challenge. You won't last 5 seconds. It's so dumb. I'm so tired of everything getting labeled a challenge. But anyway, this trend of boat jumping is responsible for at least 4 deaths. And like I mentioned, that is just the saddest way of going out. Not only is it like an agonizingly slow, painful death, but that is just, you're probably getting made fun of in the afterlife for that. Dying for a stupid TikTok trend, you know the angels are shooting spitballs at you. Like, that is, like, it's just a shameful way of exiting this corporeal realm and shedding the mortal coil. That is so fucking sad. Like, I feel horrible that, you know, people have, you know, perished from it. But I honestly am stunned by just how quickly the human brain is devolving. This is like human instincts 101 shit. Like, this is common sense. This is an instinct you're born with. Not to, like, jump off of something going fast because it'll create bad ouchie boo-boo moment. Fucking cavemen probably would know not to jump off of, like, a speeding vehicle like this. I just don't understand how anyone would see this challenge and think that it was somehow safe or wasn't dangerous. Like, you'd have to know. You would have to know. And another thing is, it's so traumatizing, like, dying this way, not only because it was extremely avoidable, but because it's most likely done in front of your family and friends. Like, if you're on a boat, you're probably not on a boat with strangers. That's not exactly like you can call up an Uber to do this with. You can't just call up, like, a boat service, right, to pick you up and do this TikTok trend. So you had friends and family around you filming you, and then you did the TikTok suicide challenge right in front of them, and they watched you die and fucking filmed it. That is scarring. That is incomprehensibly nightmarish. So, like, this whole thing is, it's shocking that anyone would actually even do this. Like, 4 deaths from it is surprisingly low, actually. I imagine that's only the reported ones so far, assuming this is a popular trend. And I decided to look it up myself on TikTok to see how big the trend was. And it seems like it was pretty big, and there are still quite a few surviving videos of people doing the challenge, but all of them seem to at least had the foresight to recognize that, you know, pushing that bitch wide open on the boat going like 60 would have been a complete disaster and led to a Mortal Kombat fatality. So the ones that are on there right now are slow boats. They're going slow, so that way they don't hurt themselves doing it or, like, get seriously injured from it. Whereas most people, I guess, didn't recognize that and amplified the danger, fucking Evel Knievel, and actually just warp-drived their boat and jumped off, which led to these 4 deaths in Alabama. This whole situation proves to me, with my fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, that there has to be some kind of shadow organization, the puppet masters pulling the strings of TikTok, that are in this think tank coming up with the most dangerous trends and challenges, knowing that stupid people will die doing it as a way of, like, population control or something. Like, not only is TikTok legitimately rotting the brains of so many people, but they're not satisfied with that. They're gluttonous for more punishment of the human species. So they're coming up with challenges like this knowing that people will die doing it. Because like I said, this is far from the only one. There's also, of course, like the blackout challenge, which was literally suffocating yourself, and some people died doing that. Which, obviously, but that was the whole fucking challenge, basically. You just strangle yourself until you're about to pass out, and some people died from it. But point is, there's so many of these challenges now. This is just the most recent one. And what's even crazier is I think back to the Tide Pod challenge, how everyone all at once recognized the stupidity and the danger of it, and yet that didn't have nearly as many deaths or injuries as any TikTok trend that comes out. Like, every big TikTok trend has, like, at least a handful of deaths associated with it at this point. And even extending further beyond Tide Pod Challenge, many people forget this one, but it's one I look back on with a big fucking smile on my face that someone even tried it. There was something called the Hot Coil Challenge, which was only ever done by one person. It was a dude who just turned his fucking stovetop on and then put his bare forearm on it and let it incinerate his flesh. So he just slams his arm onto the stovetop and lets that motherfucker simmer. He is in there just letting it cook. So he holds it there for a little bit, obviously just melting the flesh off, fucking cremating his forearm, and called it the Hot Coil Challenge. And that would have been less detrimental to human health than fucking TikTok trends like the boat jumping challenge. There would have been less deaths in the hot coil challenge than there are in things like the boat jumping challenge and blackout challenge and all of that. That's so crazy. Now, this isn't exactly related to the boat jumping challenge, but I want to illustrate just how dangerous water speed is. There is a record for the fastest water speed ever achieved, and it was set back in the 70s. And you'd think upon hearing that, like, oh, we've advanced well beyond that with technology. How have we not been able to beat a record from the 70s when it comes to water speed? And that's because it's considered the most hazardous thing to ever engage in. It's the most dangerous record to ever try and break. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it. Of the last 13 attempts to break the water speed world record, there have been 7 deaths. And the 2 most recent attempts both ended in catastrophe and death. It is a record that most people don't really want to challenge because it is so fucking dangerous. I feel like a lot of people just don't recognize how dangerous water can be, which is a silly thing to say, because I feel like most people should be able to, but we're living in clown times right now where people are just, they're not thinking anymore. They see internet engagement and all rational thought goes right out the window. So it's fucking dangerous. Obviously, this boat jumping challenge was going to lead to serious injury and death. And yet, people were blinded in the pursuit of clout. A story as old as time now. Well, not really. A story as old as 3 or 4 years now, with how desperate people are for clout, that they are actually killing themselves for it. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya.